Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mompreneur Success Podcast, where we talk about everything dealing with the mompreneur and how she can be the most virtuous woman that she could possibly be, as far as raising beautiful children who would call her blessed as they grow, how she can build a beautiful, profitable business, and also how she can also have a hot, sexy marriage and date again. A little bit about me. My name is Faye. I was formerly a homeless single mom. Yeah, girl. Homeless single mom. Fell in love with this guy who's an amazing dad. He's a great guy. No shade towards him. It just didn't work out. We had our issues just like every relationship has. We were a young couple. I got pregnant. I'm pretty sure he was just afraid. And so he decided to bolt. And he didn't look back. I looked up and I was waiting, hoping and praying because, which I'll tell you more about my story as the podcast goes on. But I just remember when I told him I was pregnant, just going to skip some parts and get to this part. When I told him I was pregnant, he looked at me like, what? And I'm sitting there shocked as he was because here I am thinking that I was the exception. I was like, yeah, they got pregnant, but it won't be me. But I'm not here, sleeping with my boyfriend, claiming to be a Christian. And I just literally was in a chokehold. I was in a chokehold as far as I didn't trust God to write my love story. I didn't trust God with that part of my life. And so I tried to build my own family. I tried to go and get what I thought I wanted for my life. And that just led to a bunch of consequences, ultimately causing me to become a homeless single mom, living in a car, couch, sleeping, even sometimes sleeping behind a hospital here in Memphis, Tennessee. And so God allowed me to go through those things, to break off a lot of pride and arrogance, to humble me, to allow me to see my dependence on Him, to also just show me a lot, to grow me a lot. And let me just get it straight right now. I do not believe that God ordains, I don't think that God's like, I just want you to go through all this suffering. I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to, we make our decisions. God can see both ways that you will take, the narrow way or the broad way. Most so than not, we choose the broad way, okay? Meaning that's the way of sin. That's the way that feels good. That's the way of, instant gratification. We don't like that narrow way, baby, because that narrow way say, don't be having sex out of wedlock. That narrow way say, I gotta trust God. He's gonna bring somebody, even though I don't see nobody around me. And so I chose my own way. And that led me into a situation where I became a homeless single mom. But in becoming a homeless single mom, it helped me to, even though I did this with an attitude, I did this out of arrogance, I had a lot of pride in this and God had to help me deal with that. But when I became a homeless single mom, I got this fire in me where I was like, listen, I may be here right now, but watch what I do to these folks. Like, watch what I show them. And so I just remember like the church embarrassing me, parents being ashamed of me, family just saying different stuff, people with all this smart little stuff to say because my relationship had crumbled. And here I was left with a baby. And I love my daughter. That's my little girl right there. It's my everything. But I just remember how hard that was building my life. And I became an entrepreneurship was literally the vehicle that God gave me to become that mompreneur, successful mompreneur, and build her way out of being homeless, build her way out of being totally broken. And granted, I totally did it out of pride and arrogance because I had something to prove. But the Lord took me on this journey that allowed me to learn who I was, learn what was in me. A lot of times you don't see what's in you until it's a demand on it, until you have to do something. And so that's what that did for me. It showed me, man, I got a lot of tenacity. I didn't know I had this much resilience. And so I worked really hard, built my life up. The Lord was so faithful to give me the vehicles of entrepreneurship and community. Community was everything. And so if you are a single mom now and you have a profitable business or you're building a business, congratulations. Like, you are amazing. You are me. I am you. But I know some of y'all in your hearts of hearts, you desire companionship. You desire to love again. You desire your life to look like that picture you had for so long. And granted, that relationship didn't work out. You may have got divorced. whatever that was, I just want you to understand that if you would listen to this podcast and apply the nuggets that I'm going to give you and plug in, tap in, ask questions, I'm here to tell you that the Lord can completely restore you in that area. I was a highly successful entrepreneur in my business. I did MLM for a while. I remember when I became an MLM marketer for a network marketing company. And I just remember I had something to prove. I had to get us into a place to stay. And so I paid my money to join the MLM company. I thank God for network marketing because that was a vehicle God gave me to really build this. And this podcast ain't about that because I'm no longer with the MLM company, although I'm grateful for it. I'm out here on my own doing these things, okay? And so I just thank God for every vehicle he's given me to take my life to a different level. And so I paid my little money, the last of the money I had to start that company, and I went to work. I worked my butt off, y'all. And I built literally from my vehicle, sleeping in my vehicle with my little girl in the NICU in the hospital. I was going to see her to breastfeed her and care for her while she was being cared for by the doctors. I built my business. I leveraged social media. I connected with people, and I was able to scale that business to the rank of an RSD, which meant 50,000 a month in sales at minimum. And I was able to totally get us a place to stay, to put us in position where I no longer needed EBT. I no longer needed welfare system. I remember the day that I got the letter in the mail from the DHS office. And they was literally like, you cut off, baby. You make too much money. And I was just like, what? And so God took me from literally like the bottom of the bottom. God took me from literally like no man's land, the wilderness. And I, in my own might, in my own decision making, I chose that path. I chose to be with a man that I never prayed and asked God, is this my husband? And when God sent warnings, I was like, I love him. I want to be with him. And so he left, became a single mom, got into entrepreneurship. Thank God, found an amazing community of believers who loved me, who loved Jesus, who was there to encourage me. You see, I didn't need a hand out. I needed a hand up. And I came in like, listen, I don't need y'all to give me all your handouts. Show me the way. Show me what to do. I took the knowledge that was given to me and I applied it. I applied it so much so that I was able to change me and my daughter's life. And 6 years into grinding and working and putting my head down, focused on Jesus, those days were really hard because I was like, I really want someone to love me. I want to be in a relationship. I want someone to love me. I want to love again. It took me a while, and I'll walk you through a couple of my life stories so you can really connect with me because some of y'all might be here, okay? And I just remember when God finally allowed me to meet my soon would be husband. And I met him at this amazing company in Memphis, Tennessee. And the first time he saw me, and but my daughter was 6 years old. So this was 6 years of being single, 6 years of trying to date and figure this thing out. 6 years of trying to get over my broken heart from my daughter's dad who left me. So it was a while. I had to go through that process. I had to learn how to forgive. I had to learn how to love the most challenging people. I had to learn how to bless those who curse me. I had to learn how to pray for those who despitefully use me. I had to learn how to turn the other cheek, baby. And that junk is not hard, okay? That junk is super hard. And so I had to learn a lot. The Lord had to totally renovate me. Totally rip out the old and install the new. And I remember November 8, 2017, I met my now husband. And when he saw me, he said he knew I was his wife. And when I first met him, I had an attitude. I was like, what get out my face. Who's he talking to? Just like that. Not knowing that I will become a wife. Not knowing that this was my husband. And I totally discounted myself a lot. Even though I wanted to be with somebody, I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of being abandoned again. I kept telling myself, I can't bear to somebody to mishandle me like that again. I can't tolerate another heartbreak. And so I got married, y'all. And I'll tell you the whole story in another episode. So you got to rock with me. You got to tune up. You got to tune in with me, okay? And so I got married to this amazing man, Haitian man, and he loved me. He loved my daughter. He pursued me, y'all. He made it where I had no doubt. Like my daughter, which I'll tell y'all more the story. I asked God to show me through what's called a fleece moment. I remember taking a moment when I was in that process of healing, but desiring companionship. And I was like, God, it's clear I can't pick a man. It's evident that my choices are trash. And so, Lord, allow my daughter to know who her stepdad is before I know. I prayed the prayer a couple times, y'all. And I'm not saying, it's no magical stuff, because we know our God don't work like that. He's sovereign. But sometimes God will answer those prayers that you give him. He'll listen to you because he loves you. But I prayed and I was like, God, just like Gideon in the Bible, he needed a fleece moment times 2. He was like, Lord, like, you got to show me and show me again. And so my fleece prayer was, Lord, allow my daughter to know that this is my husband. And I remember when me and Jamie, we was dating for about 6 months dating. And I was on this date. And when you are when you're an entrepreneur and single mom, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to work your business, take care of your kid. You out here getting it, okay? And so the little time you do get to go on a date, that's the time you cherish. But I remember this one date we went on, my daughter was having a come apart with the sitter. And the sitter called like, hey, you got to come get her. And I'm like, listen, Jamie, I know it's been really nice. I really like you. But if my daughter don't like you, we done. And he was looking at me like, what? Like, are you serious? Like if she don't like me at this moment right here, we're done. I said, yeah, we're done, bro. We are done. Because me and her relationship is not a choice. This is permanent. She's my daughter. I can't just throw her to the side. Like, no, I will not throw her and her concerns and her well-being to the side over my own happiness. I won't do it. Especially because right now, I'm all she got. I remember Jamie being so terrified. And just so y'all know, Jamie's my husband. He was so terrified. He was like, oh my God. So if she don't like me, all this is for nothing. And I'm pretty sure he was over there praying too. He was like, Father, please. And Nadia's babysitter called that night. Get back on the story. Nadia's babysitter called that night. And Nadia's my daughter. And was like, you got to come get her. Nadia was about 5 years old. And I was like, okay. I was like, Jamie, I'm sorry, but we got to get my kid. And just so you know, if this kid don't like you, we're done. We get Nana, y'all, get my daughter. And Nadia just kind of stared at him, looked him up and down. He drove us all the way home. It was a really awkward silence throughout the car. And Nadia was just, with her tilting her little head, trying to get, views of him, trying to look at him, taking him in. And we're still trying to talk a little bit, but you can feel the awkward tension in the car. And you can tell that my daughter was studying him, was really trying to figure out who is this man with my mom. And mind you, Nadia had never seen me with a guy. I am a person who believes your kids should not see everybody that you entertain in your personal life. When you allow someone to meet your kid, it better be somebody that you're thinking about being together with. Understand? That's what I believe. And I think it's healthy, not just for you, but also for that person and also for that child. Okay. And so Nadia didn't see me with nobody. She didn't see me date nobody. I totally left her out of all that. You cannot meet my kids until I know this is it. Or I know something's going to come from this. So Jamie in the car driving us back to our vehicle. And Nadia looks at him and we pull up to the vehicle. Jamie gets out the car. He comes around, do the little gentleman thing. It was really sweet. And he's like, okay, Faye, thanks so much for the night. And Nadia stops us as we're saying our last goodbyes. And she says, Mom, can I ask Mr. Jamie something? I go, yeah, you can ask Jamie something. And y'all, I had no idea this kid was going to say this. This little kid was like, hey, Jamie, I like you. And I'm looking like, oh, that's sweet. She go, hey, hi, Jamie, I like you. You're kind, you're nice, you're generous to my mom. And y'all, he's just smiling because it's the first time he met her. But Nadia had already had the gift of discernment as a young baby. And I'll tell y'all more about that as we dig into this podcast, okay? But Nadia looks at him and say, I like you. You're fun, you're nice, and you're generous. Then she hits him with I think I like you for a stepdad. Y'all, I about fell out. This was the first time Nadia met him. It was the first time Jamie met her. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what in the world just happened? And I just immediately go and say, I'm so sorry, Jamie. I'm like, oh my gosh, she done ran him away. He about to straight up fire me. He ain't gonna want to date no more. And he looks at her and he smiles like this really just sweet smile, like almost like his heart was just touched by that. And he goes, I think I like you too as a stepdaughter. And I look at both of them and I go, both of y'all can shut up. And y'all, I said just that. Both of y'all can shut your mouth right now. And they looked at each other with just the biggest smiles. Nadia hugged him and he told us goodnight. And y'all, at that moment, I was done. And the Lord allowed me to recall when I prayed and asked him to show my daughter first that was my husband. And Nadia did that several times. She would call him dad. She would, this was before we was engaged. This is why we were dating. She was longing to be around him. And granted, her dad was still there periodically when he could. But Nadia was like really, really like connecting to Jamie. And you knew it was a God thing. And so I got married 16 months after meeting my husband, and life was a whirlwind. But now I am a housewife, an entrepreneur, and a mother of 5. And so in this podcast, I am going to walk you through life. What is it really like to be a mompreneur that honors her husband, that loves and nurtures her children, and that builds a big, beastly, profitable business? Because I firmly believe that the Bible gives us insight to what a true biblical woman looks like. And for a long time, I thought I had to choose either be a wife at home, take care of my kids, take care of my husband, and that's great if that's what you want to do. But in me, and I'm sure there's other people just like me, there's a fire in you. You have a fire in you that desires to build a business. I call it the lamp of the entrepreneur. The Lord gave some of us an entrepreneurial spirit. It's like an apostolic anointing where you try and you desire and it's like this burning desire to build something sustainable, to build a legacy of business, to teach your children not just their lullabies and not just how to clean a house, but how do they build businesses. And I just believe there's a portion of women out there that God's going to use your pain. He's going to take that pain and make it purposeful. He's going to make it purposeful and help you make profits through your business. You have a desire, a dream, a book, a podcast, something in you that you like, oh my God, Faye, all I think about is this business. I love my kids. I love my husband. I honor them. I nurture them. But I have to bring forth a business. If that's you, welcome to the Mompreneur Society. I am going to equip you. I'm a business coach. That's what I do. I did MLM for a while. I paused to make a lot of babies, and I got back into the marketplace to teach and coach kingdom entrepreneurs who are moms, who are dads. But this podcast is directly talking to the mompreneur. That you just need a connection point. You may feel alone. You may feel like, oh my God, am I going crazy? You may feel like this is too much. You may feel overwhelmed. This is a place for you to come and connect, to come and be poured into, to come and know there's days that you're going to probably be wiped out and not feel like doing nothing. There's days the kid's going to get on your nerve. There's days your husband going to irritate the crap out of you. But guess what? It's so worth it. In this space that we're creating, the Mompreneur Society, and it's the Mompreneur Success Society, we're going to teach you how to have longevity and love in a hot, sexy marriage, how to have beautiful children who love you, who honor you, and who you nurture, support, and build up, and how to grow a business and own that business and not let the business own you. So welcome to the Mompreneur Success Podcast. I will see y'all very soon. So this is going to be put on YouTube very soon. We'll be able to connect. We'll have events. We'll have our own membership. We'll have courses and classes. We're going to connect on a whole nother level. So buckle up your seatbelts and get ready to tap in. I love y'all so much. Feel free to reach out anytime, okay? Leave a comment, share with a friend. I love y'all. Take care.